Lice were ever a problem for fighting men, ofttimes forced to bed down in unclean places and unable to take their customary baths. Norsemen did tend to bathe more than other men. 'Twas one reason women of all lands welcomed them to their beds. That and other reasons, Mordr thought with silent humor at his own jest. "Then I want a hearty meal in my great hall." Mordr went on to encourage his men onward. Many of them wore heavy hauberks of chain mail, plus swords and battle axes and shields added to the weight on the climb upward. "Yea, you are all invited to my welcome feast, after your burrowing." He smiled before continuing. "Then a long night betwixt the thighs of my favorite concubine, Dinah." "Dinah of the big bosoms?" Atzer teased. "Precisely," Mordr said. "Forget a long night. Mayhap I will need a night and a day afore I am sated. I might even favor my wife, Guli, with my attentions, if she is not in her usual nagsome mood." There was much nodding. They all understood the pain of a shrewish wife. But, nay, Mordr realized belatedly, there was something more important than all those appetites. Most of all, he yearned to see his children, Kata and Yomar. Though only 1 year apart, being 6 and 5 respectively, his little mites were not alike in appearance or personality. Kata had pale blonde hair that would no doubt darken over time into dark blonde or light brown like his own. She was a saucy wenchling with an impish grin, always up for some mischief or other. Yomar, black-haired like his mother, Guli, was more serious but always willing to participate in Kata's childish adventures. Yea, that is what he had missed most about Stonegarth, his children. He pictured himself, first thing, tossing Kata and Yomar into the air, giving them huge bear hugs and playful tickles. Was there aught more glorious to a man than the giggle of a child, especially when the boiling or girling was fruit of his loins? He'd brought Kata dozens of ribbons, all the colors of the rainbow, and for Yomar, there was a miniature sword crafted of hard wood with its own belted scabbard, so small it would fit around a man's thigh. Mordr couldn't wait to see their joyful appreciation. Also, both of them would delight in an intricately carved board game of Nephitophel with silly game pieces, giants and trolls and such, rather than the usual king, his defending soldiers, and the opposing foemen. His first clue that something was amiss came with the realization that none of his housecarls, or even any villagers, rushed to greet them. The second clue, which had his comrades in arms unsheathing their weapons, was no smoke rising from the roofs of his keep or any of the longhouses and outbuildings that comprised Stonegarth on the flat-topped mountain. Always there should be hearth smoke, even in the summer months, from cook fires, if not for heat. The ominous silence had them all on alert. And then they came upon the first of the macabre scenes. In the outer courtyard lay the dead bodies of his guardsmen, frozen into stiff, grotesque postures, eyes open, mouths agape in horror. The cold even preserved the blood of their wounds in splotchy patterns, which gave Mordr evidence that the attackers must have come just afore the more recent freeze, no more than 3 sennights ago. "Was it Saxons?" someone asked. "Those cowards would not travel this deep into our territory," another soldier replied. "Mayhap Huns." "Nay, 'twas Norsemen. Look at this sword, pattern welded in the Viking style," Atzer pointed out. "Hordsons," several men concluded as one. "Those slimy outlaws do not merit